So we are standing here with Don, and this is your bar. What is this? This is where
all the magic happens.
Right.
Yeah. So when we moved to this building, because we're downtown on Monroe and Riverside, we thought to ourselves, like, we have to do something that keeps people engaged longer. This restaurant is just so people look through these windows. That's the whole idea.
These windows are incredible.
Yeah.
And you were talking about, speaking of these windows.
Yeah, so we harvested all those from Kaiser Aluminum. So we went out on site.
The North Factory there?
Yeah, and literally saws all these windows out. Chuck Silva, who's a great local fabricator, helped us clean them up. And then
they're really...
No, this was... We could have never afforded to have these windows made.
Right.
And the fact that they came from a great Spokane company,
it's just epic. Legendary. And they, what, in the 30s or something? When
1938.
1938.
So cool.
And then you got
Can't even do better than that.
And a barn.
All the wood in here is from a 100-year-old barn that we tore down around Colfax. So, you know, all of our barn wood's real. You know, we cut it out of a barn.
So cool.
You know, we used it. Yeah, so,
we had
and all that stuff was hewn right on property.
Yeah.
They would just have a sawmill on their property and
that's
cut
so
wood.
cool. And then back there, that back wall.
Those were all barrels. So we started stashing barrels. We knew we were going to do this building maybe a couple years before. So we just started stashing wood. And those are all just barrel stays out of barrels dating back to when we started. So
cool.
It's like history on the wall.
Right.
Every person has a story, but not everyone has a place to tell it. I've interviewed amazing people all over the planet. I want you to meet them.
Hi, I'm Don Poffenroth, and I founded Dry Fly Distilling. I might be the most interesting person you've never met. And why? Because I hired all the right people.
Well, welcome, Don
Thanks,
Poffenroth, to
Cheers.
The most interesting person you've never heard of podcast.
I've never heard of myself.
That's why you're on this.
I get it.
What are you talking
I like
about?
it.
That's why do you think we're here? This is a big deal because this is our first on-location podcast that we have done.
Well, we have a nice background.
You have a hell of a background,
right?
And we're going to go down there and take a tour of this place when we're kind of done talking here and weave it through this. But also want to announce, like, right away, you are the first sponsor of the MIP podcast, and we're very honored. I can't think of a better brand or anything I love more than whiskey. Well, my family.
I appreciate it. Family first.
That's right.
I'm with you on that.
So what are we drinking right now? And
we're having an old-fashioned. So this is a Triticale old-fashioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're with?
Oh, so a little bit of simple syrup, a little bit of bitters, and a tiny little bit of orange, as good as you get.
Tell me the story of this actual
spirit. This is not this whiskey, different whiskey, but Triticale is like kind of one of my favorite stories. Like, we brought in grain from Scotland, had WSU help us grow it up. And did the whole thing from the ground up. So super fun to do it from the point of origin all the way through.
Wow.
So one of my proudest things I've done.
Tell me when this started.
We started.
When did you get the idea, hey, I'm going to make booze?
Yeah, maybe 2005, 2006. And it was purely an issue of, dude, that was a long time ago.
I guess it is, huh? 20 years. 20 years.
Right? I worked for a food company. I was a VP of marketing for a food company, and I had been there a long time. And it was like, it's time for you to move to Southern California. And I was like, yeah, there's no way that's ever going to happen. So
I got this thing called fishing I like.
Yeah. And it was a misery loves company scenario, right? Like, hey, let's make him come because we all hate it here. So I left 19 years. And they go, no one leaves after 19 years. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
I'm out.
So,
that's a big leap.
Yeah. Any entrepreneur thing is a big leap,
It
right?
is.
It's jumping off the cliff, right?
Absolutely.
So, and I always tell people, like, if you are not prepared to jump off the cliff, you're not really an entrepreneur. If you're hedging all your bets, we all hedge bets, right? We all try to minimize risk as best we can. That's part of being an entrepreneur.
Right.
But man, you got to go all in. And you have to. It has to be your money, and you have to do your thing. And listen, you can have people help you, but this whole idea of using other people's money is not a real thing.
No.
It doesn't happen.
No, it does not happen.
It never happened to me.
No, me either.
No.
So I didn't realize until just a few minutes ago that you and I both our St. Charles Wildcats.
I know it, man, back in the day.
Unbelievable.
So I lived on Garland, and we would just walk. That was back in the day when you could actually walk to school.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You didn't have to
I
worry
lived on
about
Wellesley,
anything.
and you lived on Garland. No way.
You just walked up like 4 blocks
So you're like
to school.
Wellesley and Belt or something? Where were you?
We were Addison and Wellesley right there.
Addison and Wellesley, yeah.
We were just a quarter block in, 2600 block.
No way. So what were the families you were around? Where you know, there's
St.
all the
Charles,
families.
man. I mean the DeFelices.
DeFelice, absolutely. Yeah, Vince.
Yeah, you're asking me to go back a long time.
I know.
That was 50 years ago.
Oh my God. So you were in like Rhonda's class or something, or
back
no,
in the
like
day.
Marie's class.
And
or whatever.
back when I was at St. Charles, and what year did you graduate from high school?
I graduated in 85. You graduated in 81. So my brother Jim was a year older than you. He graduated in 80. So he would have been a year older than you at St. Charles. No way.
So back then it was all, I mean, we had all priests and nuns. There were no lay people teaching.
The mole.
Yeah.
The mole.
Man, I got whacked with a ruler a lot.
The mole. Did you remember the mole?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Sister Carmel Joseph. Legend.
Oh,
yeah. She was so old by the time she got to us.
Monsignor O'Connell, right?
O'Connor.
Monsignor
O'Connor, man. Yeah.
My first communion, my first everything was
totally. Oh, my God.
Even when I was at St. Charles, I think we still did the Mass in Latin. That's
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It switched maybe I was 10 years old. It switched, but somewhere in there.
Akers family. Yeah, all the St. Charles family. There's a ton of St. Charles families, man, that have turned into people that run really run our city.
I don't know if we run the city, but we hang out.
That make some impact. You know, do some stuff.
Hopefully.
I know. Yeah. And that neighborhood, Scott Morris grew up in that neighborhood. Did you know that?
I
didn't even know that till recently.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool people. That was the suburbia of Spokane back then, right? For our parents.
Remember that? So on Garland, right, on Driscoll, like that was a grocery store, a little grocery store there, right? That was the penny store, like your mom and dad.
Is that where the pop shop was?
No, the pop shop was.
Pop shop was.
Yeah, this was a little grocery store.
C-Street.
Now it's a hardware store.
Oh yeah. Oh.
But like mom and dad would give you 25 cents, like you'd walk down to that little grocery store and buy like a little bag.
Garland Market, dude.
Bag of candy, right?
Right before football practice. That's what we would do at Audubon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and then we moved out to Fairwood, so we moved out there, and then eventually my mom and dad ended up in Colbert. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
We kept moving north.
And you went to Meade.
Which
was a ginormous place when you were there.
Yeah, because we lived at Colbert, so it was too far to go to prep, plain and simple.
It was too. It kind of was back then.
There was nobody out there doing it.
Isn't that weird? Yeah.
So I went to Meade, and listen, I love my Meade family. I had my 40th reunion here 10 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, your reunion was here?
Yeah, we did it here.
I
right
did
after we opened.
I've done every after party at my reunion at my office. It's been so fun.
So, I had maybe 160, 170 people here. It was awesome.
Holy crap. Well, this is the perfect place to do it.
Thanks.
What an incredible place this
Thanks.
is. So, honestly, though, what was the impetus for whiskey, though? You said you're like, I'm out of here.
Dry Fly period?
Yeah, Dry Fly period.
I think it would have been the Dry Fly shoe company or the Dry Fly jacket company. I mean, it was going to be some Dry Fly thing.
Because you love to fish.
I love to fish, so that was the thing. And listen, my original business partner and I fish together, and we like to drink, so... People say, how did you get started? I would say I was an avid consumer. That's how it happened.
I know. I always tell Kevin Parker at Dutch Bros, I'm like, sometimes you consume a little too much of your own product, Kevin. Settle down.
But it's good. Like, we started, and we were the first distillery in this state since Prohibition, and we had to write our own laws.
Wait.
I mean, there was
what? Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 2004 or 5?
This is 2006, 7.
2006, 7. And
there hadn't been a distillery in this state since 1916.
What? Was it not allowed?
It wasn't that it wasn't allowed. It's
it
just
illegal?
that there were big companies running our distilling industry, right? And there was no such thing as small manufacturers. So when we got our license as a small distiller, we were number 10 in the country as small guys. So we were really early in the equation.
So nobody was really doing that. They were all just Jim Beam. And
part of that was maybe there wasn't
Jack
equipment
Daniels
involved. And, I mean... So a lot of things came together. Laws sort of merged. The federal government backed off on, being so intense about things, and equipment became available. Like our equipment comes from Germany, so all those things sort of happened around the same time.
Was there anything spurred on by this sort of like micro brew beer?
Oh, I'm going to guess that was part of it.
That sort of vibe.
But I think it's not parallel. I mean, we all try to think about it being parallel, but. This is a way different business. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing you made was what?
Vodka and gin.
Vodka and gin.
Yep.
Because the gin is what I remember being phenomenal.
Yeah, we did that because you could make that in 10 days, right? So we could sell something. So I can remember we made our very first product, and we're on the phone to our friends in Germany, our equipment manufacturers, who would pose questions to you. Like I go, hey, what do I do? And they go, well, I mean, you have 3 choices. You can do A, B, or C. And I go, which one should I do? And they go, well, you should just do whatever one you pick.
Doesn't matter.
So no, they didn't want to tell you. So you choose the way to go. And we just kind of did
Russian
our
roulette.
thing, right? Exactly. And we just did our thing and made it, and away we went. And I can remember the first time we made product, and at that time, Washington ran the liquor system, right? So
the liquor stores.
We had to go present to the Washington Liquor Control Board. That was 5 human beings in a building
in Olympia.
Yeah. And you would go have a meeting, and they go, okay, hey, Dry Fly guys, you have 7 minutes. You know, that's your slot.
That's your pitch.
Do your pitch. We were there for like an hour and a half because they were so enamored by the fact that there was a distillery coming in.
They didn't know what to do with that.
They didn't know what to do.
Interesting.
And it was really fun. There were a ton of people in line that are not very happy with Dry Fly.
Really?
Yeah, you know that.
Why?
I slaughtered all their 7-minute slots. You know?
Oh,
because I was there an hour and change.
Occupied their time.
Exactly.
They didn't want to do anything with it.
Anyway, it all worked out.
Was anybody else thinking about doing that, or were you the? Why?
There were maybe
people
3
right
or
on your
4 of
heels?
us in the state. There was Woodinville whiskey.
Yeah, Woodinville.
There was a
very
company
good
called Pacific that was doing gin and absinthe. I mean, there were sort of 3 or 4 of us at the very beginning. We got licensed first, and it wasn't. I mean, within 4 or 5 weeks, or maybe a little bit more, Woodinville got. You know, we know those guys. It was really fun because
that's cool.
In those days, we all just worked together. I mean, it was an incredibly tiny industry. And, you know, nationwide, there were 25 of us. It wasn't, we would go to a distiller meeting, you know, it's 25 people. It was tiny.
No way.
And then we would all talk. Like, I can't buy bottles. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And we all shared. You know, now there's 3,000 and shit. I don't.
3,000 in the state?
Yeah, there's 3,000 in the country.
In the country?
Yeah.
And
now I don't know. People go like, have you ever heard of these guys? Sorry, I can't keep up, right? It's too many.
Right, too many. Were you successful right away? Did it take a while? I remember hearing that, hey, this Dry Fly gin just won a big award.
Yeah.
Didn't you win something that kind of put you on the map?
Our vodka won the World Spirit Competition our 2nd year, which was just stupid amazing, and we didn't believe it. We got an email saying, "Oh, you guys won this big award," and then we're like, "No, we didn't. No, we didn't."
Well, I just got an award for best podcast in this country, and we got the same one, and I'm like, "Is this
a
scam?"
Yeah, this is a scam. Exactly. We're like, "No, we didn't." And then finally, we started calling people like, "You guys were there," and they're like, "No, it happened."
No shit.
So we were the first distillery to win a national award, and
wow.
I mean, stuff like that you can't even script, right? You think great things are going to happen.
Was it because you just made really good?
I think we took our time and we put love into what we did, and we used local raw ingredients, and we cared about things, right?
Yeah, the process.
And that's kind of the difference between a guy who does it mass and a guy who's a craft guy is you just take more time and you think about things.
How important is it that all of these grains we are in a grain world here. We are in the grain capital of the country almost.
I think it's critical. I mean, I think that when we thought about it in the originating days, we thought about the fact that, you know, I came out of marketing. I thought I was okay at it. We knew we had great growers, and then we just needed that middle guy, the equipment manufacturer, to connect those 2 dots, right? Build us equipment for dummies.
Yeah, and any of the farmers or grain growers that just kind of like got on board and thought this was cool, or did you just buy everything?
We started buying from a co-op originally, right?
What co-op was it?
Coag was the name of the company.
Okay.
They're out of Rosalia.
Okay.
And then I started going to farmer meetings, and people go like, "Hey, you need to buy from one farm." I mean, the grain growers were telling me that. It's like your product will be more consistent because when you buy from a co-op, they're mixing 50 guys into one bin, right?
Yeah, you need to
get. And then it sort of kind of varies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we switched to one guy. And so we buy from 3 farms today. They're all over 100 years old.
That's so cool.
You know, they're all in the originating families.
Where are they on the map?
So Oakesdale.
I love Oakesdale.
Airway Heights and Colfax are the 3. So, I mean, they're right there. They're all full loose guys.
Cool. What do you love about Spokane? Why stay here? I mean, you
born
got
and
all
raised.
big now. You could take off and go anywhere.
I love Spokane, man.
I do too, dude.
I mean,
I love it.
Listen, I think we as Spokane, sometimes we have problems, but, you know, in the grand spectrum, I think we are far more positive than negative.
Yeah.
You know, I always try to remind people that, like, listen, we can talk about all the bad things that are happening, or we can talk about all the great things we want to do. Let's just go the other way.
This Saturday when we filmed this now, but last Saturday was, I don't remember a day like that.
Oh, St. Patrick's Day?
It was St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
The USL soccer team was sold out. There was an event at the podium. They had a hockey game that night. There was events all downtown. I went to a gala that night. The weather was incredible. Yeah. It's like, this is a badass place, all walkable. Yeah. I mean, you can walk from here in 10 minutes, get over there to do all of that.
Yeah,
it's a remarkable space.
I love Spokane people. I love that. If you're from Spokane, anyone from Spokane can talk to anyone from Spokane. I always call it the 3 degrees of Spokane. Like, I can connect within 3 people.
Yes.
Any one person.
100%. You and I both.
So you can go like, oh, you went to school here. Do you know? And then all of a sudden it all comes together.
Well,
right?
that's the thing. That's the first thing I said to you. What high school? And then grade school, St. Charles. No way. We both went there.
This is just a big-ass small town.
It's a big-ass, which is the best part of it. That's the funnest part.
I love it.
I know. I do too. I don't know. It's crazy. This is the 50th year of Expo 74.
Excited about that.
What do you remember Expo?
Oh,
what do you remember about it? So you, because you're a year younger than my brother, Jim loved it. You guys were old enough to like. Yeah. He would ride his bike down here.
So here's what I remember. My grandfather was a railroad guy. He worked for the U.S. Postal Service.
So did mine.
Right. So what he did is he would sort mail between Seattle and Spokane and vice versa. Like
no
they
way.
would do a trip. So on the way to Seattle, you sort all the Seattle mail and vice versa on the way to Spokane. So when they tore the railway lines out, that was a big thing. That's when he retired.
It was.
Right, so I can remember that. And then we were all heading to Expo. So I remember the day it opened.
Were you there?
I think we were there.
I was there. Yeah. I remember seeing Nixon.
I think we were there.
Yeah, I was totally there.
I just think it was such a big thing for. I mean,
it was a big thing.
We were out over our skis and we delivered.
Totally. I know.
Which is crazy.
I know.
No small town had ever done that.
No,
like we
never.
Did.
Smallest ever.
And that changed Spokane. Like, I always think that, you know, the park is an amazing thing, but I don't think there would be Bloomsday, or I don't think there would be Hoop Fest.
No.
None of those things would have existed without Expo.
There's a spirit about it that it allowed you and I got to grow up and see that and go, I can do it. We got to see the world here. And like, well, if they could do it, I could do this.
Yeah, we just learned that there were no barriers.
Right. Yeah, that was a great gift.
You do whatever the hell you want to do.
That's a great gift.
It was a great gift.
Yeah,
and listen, those people, business guys, I'd like to think of what if something like that happened today? Could we pull it off? I think it would be harder, but I think it could still happen.
We could do it.
Yeah.
There's enough people that I can think of the people that could pull it off.
That love Spokane.
Yeah, have you ever met King Cole? Do you know who
I never did.
I got the chance to do a commercial with him, and he was incredible. Yeah. He was super old, but he was just such an elegant guy and super smart and really, really nice. And I was just like, that guy did it.
We had gentlemen back in the day, or gentlewomen, if you want to use the term, right? That they were people who could argue all day long, but at the end of the night could get together and have a cocktail.
That's right. They're classy.
And
yes, exactly.
They were classy people, and they
were
could deal with each other.
Right across the street here at the Spokane Club, most of them probably. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we're doing a project for the couple projects for Inovia Foundation, which started by 5 women, and their husbands were starting Expo. Yeah. In the same year, and I'm like, I'm not sure which one had a bigger impact. Those guys are giving away $150 million a year. Yeah, equal. It's just like that. Yeah, those are some. It was a different. Your parents were probably that way too, right?
Yeah, that's a great thing about Spokane.
How were your parents to you? What did they give you?
Oh, listen. You. Sorry.
No, I know.
Listen, I lost. God damn you.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Listen, I lost my mom, so.
When did you lose your mom? Like recently?
June. Last June. So close.
That's new. Yeah.
Listen, I spend time with my dad, and
I would not
be here. He's still here.
Okay.
I would not be here doing what I do. And my mom and dad love Dry Fly.
Oh, they're proud of it, yeah. Yeah. Well, and all of we talked about those families in St. Charles. All of the parents of the friends that we knew, they were all that way. Classy, good, just good people, you know, just super good people.
You find
I'm
out,
sure
like,
our parents knew each other. They had to.
I find now that like my friends, my social friends are very much like I am. Like I think you gravitate towards people like you. You know, so I've been married 40 years. Most of my friends have been married a long time.
Yeah.
Like you just communicate on a different level.
Yeah.
Because you have the same value system.
Well, and they were that greatest generation.
There's just some wonderful people in Spokane that are honorable and kind and gentle. And,
yeah. Well, I tell the story a lot, but my dad, he only gave me a couple pieces of advice when I started my business and did what you're doing, you know, taking this chance. And he goes, because he was an architect and had a business for 60 years. And he's like, only thing you got to know, you can't screw anybody over in this town because you'll be out of business in 2 weeks.
No,
you have to be great. You have to be great.
You have to be honorable.
You have to be honorable and great to people, or you will not make it.
This is a big, small town, so no one forgets anything. You know, conversely, everyone remembers the great things.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so if you're on the positive side of that equation,
they mostly remember that.
Yeah, they do. I mean, listen, we also know people who have screwed our community, and we all remember that.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all take that into consideration.
Yeah, and also forgiving. You know, somebody slips up, you get another chance here. People are pretty cool.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I think we're kind people here.
Yeah.
You know, I've gone through things in business life, and I've always been counseled, like, be the kindest person in the equation.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Counsel
so the other one,
win with kindness.
Right, take the higher ground. Because in the long run, it's always going to end up people. The thing about a small town, this just happened to a friend of mine. I won't say who it is or what happened, but pretty big thing happened to this guy, and he's been a stalwart dude forever, and people did some bad stuff to him. They talked shit about him, and he just didn't. He just went, that's not true, but I don't need to engage. I'm just going to take the high road. And he asked me what I thought, and I thought, do that, because you just wait this out. In a year or so, everybody's going to know the story anyway, because it's such a small town. They're going to hear the truth.
If you're an honorable person, people know.
Exactly.
I mean, and you don't have to explain yourself to people. It's sort of like this theory I have of like when someone tells you they're the smartest person in the world, they probably aren't, right? Because the real smart people never ever say that.
No, right. Well, who would say that if you really are? I know.
You know, just no one does that. Like the smartest people I know would never ever tell you they're smart.
No, they're
wicked. They just are.
Right, they're just wicked smart. They're confident enough to know they don't need to say that stuff. Yeah.
I like when people do things right. Like I can appreciate when I taste a rum or a tequila or a malt whiskey or whatever it is from another manufacturer when they've done it right, I can taste that.
Right.
So I understand, because ultimately what happens here is if you make mistakes, they affect the flavor. So you're sort of mitigating making mistakes to a certain degree on how you distill. So that's the handcrafted part of this equation, is you're making decisions based upon how things taste. Yeah. And then you make those calls. If you decide to make quantity over quality your issue, then you have to deal with that. So I appreciate when I taste a great rum or
what's your favorite whiskey other than your stuff?
Wow, other than mine.
Because I'm a big Amador fan, as you.
Yeah, I'm a weeded bourbon guy. I like Maker's Mark and so wheat gives bourbon kind of a sweet tone. And I definitely probably gravitate towards the sweet side for sure.
Yeah. What of your stuff? All the stuff you guys have made.
I love Triticale because we did it from grain up, and it was a farm to farm to farm to producer thing.
Super local.
It became this hyper local thing, and even on our grain, on our wheat, and other things, like we chose wheat varieties that we've grown in this area for a long, long time. And it just tied us back to where we were. I mean, the farm, the land, all that matters.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Fishing. When did this happen? Was it your dad? Was it your when did you get in? What year? When was the first time you went fishing? Where?
I was maybe 10, so early 1970s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Where'd you go?
Oh wow, Meadowing Falls on a little creek. Can't even remember the name of it.
So you've always been a creek fisherman. You're not a lake guy.
Moving water guy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Meadowing Falls, beautiful.
And then when I was in the food business and I was a marketing guy, sales marketing guy, I didn't golf. Like I'm not a golf dude.
So I played golf. The first time I ever played golf was 10.
Yeah.
My dad was a golfer, and I still play, and I play for Gonzaga.
I didn't play golf.
Streaky
so
good.
Instead, I took people fishing.
You did that, right? Because your dad did that.
It was just my thing. Like,
Yeah,
and it was a different experience.
It
to tell
is
people,
different.
like, listen, we're going to spend the same money. We might as well go to a river and hang out.
So true. It's beautiful. Yeah.
You know, and we're going to enjoy being outside together.
Are you going to take me? Would you take me fishing?
Anytime, I'll row you.
Are you serious?
Anytime.
Are you one of these guys who are like, he's such a rookie. I don't have my time with that guy.
If you're a rookie, I will make it so that you don't make me tie you up.
All right, let's do this because I want to seriously. Because I've had that same experience as a golfer, where people are like, "Oh, you're pretty good. I don't want to go." I'm like, "I don't care. No, it's more fun for me."
I want to get as many people on the river.
Yeah.
You know, I like
Oh,
even
it's
on the
so
Spokane.
beautiful.
I mean, we're right above the Spokane, and when we don't. Our community doesn't realize how amazing of a resource that is. Like, I'm a big Spokane River fan.
Good.
And you can go fish on this river and do amazing things and enjoy a beautiful day that you never know you're going through a city of 400,000 people, right? You'll never know.
No.
You can't see it when
It's
you're
true.
on the water.
And even 10 minutes from here, Riverside State Park. Are you kidding?
Man.
It's just
60 miles of mountain bike trails.
10 minutes, 5 minutes. It's crazy.
Multiple times a week.
I know.
I love
it's a
the park.
remarkable place. Yeah. Do you know Mark Few? Do you fly fish with him? I mean, he's
I
the
have fished
guy
with him before.
that we know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Mr. Fly Fisher here.
He is Mr.
Is he good? Tell me about it now.
No, I think he's really good.
I think he is too. That's what you really think so?
Remember, Mark, I said that. I've only fished with him one time, and it was with Greg Heister.
Greg Heister,
and we were filming a Seasons on the Fly show.
Okay.
And yeah, I think he has a hard job in our community. Like, he has very high profile.
Possible.
And he has to worry about what people think about him, which is kind of bullshit.
He has to what?
Worry about what people think about him, right?
Does he?
I think he does. I think he's
he
concerned about the fact we take advantage of the fact that they're as good as they are. And that is a ton of work.
It's so I just had Chris Standiford, the athletic director of Gonzaga on. It's like, this is the most unrealistic thing. It's just not even real.
Fans are spoiled, though.
Very.
Like, we expect it.
25 in a row, 26 years in a row, something stupid.
You know, listen, he had to coach like a SOB this year and did it. Got the kids to play.
I think he did a hell of a
job.
job.
Listen, I think he may say at the end of the time, this is one of his best years.
I think he will too. And hey, who knows?
Because it wasn't easy.
So we sit here right before March Madness is literally tomorrow when it starts. People have been bitching about this team. I've been a season ticket holder for 25 years, and I've watched all these guys, and I'm like, just give this time, man. This guy knows how to turn him on at the right. Let him do his thing. They got, like you said all year, everything's in front of them, man.
I think with the NIL and I could pontificate on basketball today, but I think this March Madness is going to be insane.
It's going to be unbelievable.
Like a 12 seed and a 9 seed are going to win this year. It's going to be insane.
It is going to be insane.
And we're all going to sit back and go, how did that happen? Well, I mean, the portal, like kids moving around.
Exactly right.
And the NIL thing has changed basketball.
Yeah, we just filmed with Dusty Stromer on Friday.
Good, bad, or indifferent. That's the way it is.
It is, and I love that he's getting paid. You know, and Anton, and we filmed with him twice, and that hasn't changed them. Boy, they're the best kids.
No, they're still working.
Incredibly good kids. Yeah,
just because you're on a TV ad doesn't mean you're a good basketball player. I mean, those guys work on their craft every day.
That is 100% correct. So this building, and we're going to talk about it a little bit, probably more when we get on the floor. But how did you luck into this? Why? When did? So backing up, vodka, gin, then whiskey.
Yep.
And that did well.
Cocktails.
And then canned cocktails
blew us up.
Did it?
Yeah. So that sort of happened during the pandemic, right? And we were.
Okay.
So we quit manufacturing most spirits during the pandemic. We had enough inventory. You know, everyone, to a certain degree, quit.
Why did you quit? They stopped. They stopped drinking?
The market slowed down.
Did it?
And then what we started doing is making sanitizer.
I would think it would pick up. Didn't people start drinking?
It did eventually. Then we started making sanitizer, so we made...
I picked up some
thousands
sanitizer that you handed me.
No, we gave it.
I remember that. I drove up and got some, and from you.
It was the greatest thing we ever did.
It was cool.
Just taking care of our community. So when you say that you love your community, and then you do things that you prove it, that means
you just
a lot
why that? How did that happen?
It was the right thing to do at the right time. Right, and we didn't know what the hell was going on. We were all afraid. Everyone was afraid.
Yeah, they were.
And we just thought, like, we have the capacity to help. That's what we're going to do.
So you had people available, and you put them to work, and you made sanitizer and gave it out.
Yep.
That was a classy thing, and that was over at your old place.
Yeah, it was almost 2 years we did that.
So when did you move into the plant that is right by a river walk?
Oh, we started that. We started there in 2006. So,
that's where you started.
We started there.
Okay, okay. And then
moved here 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, somewhere around there.
Wow, and why move here?
We ran out of room.
Were you making too many? Did you have too many in their line? Because I look over at the bar,
and
I'm like, there's a shitload of.
I mean, but a lot of that's just stuff in the barrel, right? Just happens to come out.
Yeah, but you have several different. Your line of spirits now is fairly big.
Yeah, we do okay. I think.
How many you got?
Oh, total SKUs? I don't know, 20. It's a stupid number.
20 different kinds of alcohol
we really should
that
have
you
10.
sell.
We shouldn't bet. We still have 20.
Why should you have 10?
Because it's easier and it's more efficient. But
well, and you're going to have
a craft guy's
you're
going to
have 21 soon because you need to make the MIP whiskey. Is that possible?
Oh, anything is possible.
Are you serious?
Anything is possible.
Because that would be the most amazing thing to have our own little craft.
I think we can make that happen.
Oh my God.
You
heard it. He said it.
That's a whole other thing. We have
to
think about it.
All right, we'll think about
this building. We were looking at buildings around town, and we were looking at building, and it failed structural kind of evaluation. And
this building?
No, not this building.
Oh, another one.
Yeah, this building is literally a bomb shelter.
Dude.
So I literally had gone through a 9-month process, and I was depressed. Like, this building failed, and I'm like, oh man, I just can't deal with this right now. And Doug Bird called me on the phone.
Doug, yeah, for sure.
And he said, hey, I found a building.
Doug.
And I'm like, I'm going to send Pat and Terry, my 2 other buddies, down. I can't deal with this right now. And they called me like a half an hour later and said, you need to get your ass in the truck and come down here right now. Whoa. You know, and I walked in this building, like I told you before we started, really, they'll let us come in this building? Really?
So this, just so you know, people know, we are in the middle of what was the printing press for the Spokesman Review.
So we had the color printing press here, and
you caught the edge of a dying industry.
It was
just the right time. You caught it like you caught a fish.
This is a unicorn. We would never be able to afford to build this building. We would never.
No.
I mean, everything that is here is. I mean, we're blessed. Plain and simple, we're blessed to be here. It worked out perfectly.
Because this floor can support the weight of what is right
pounds.
behind us.
The floor doesn't care.
Wow.
I mean, it is a unicorn. We could have not done any better.
That is so
thank
cool.
you, Doug Bird, and thank you, Cole's family.
Yeah. But what does this give you that you could never get anywhere else? You call it a unicorn. Why?
From a manufacturer, it's like this floor is 2 feet thick. It will hold whatever weight we want to put. I mean, high ceilings, on the corner of Monroe and Riverside, for God's sakes. I mean, it's as good as you get.
How heavy is this?
Oh, none of that is nearly as... So the press that was in here originally kind of sat through the middle of this floor, and it weighed about 1 million pounds.
That was the printing press of the Spokesman.
Yeah, so what they did here was the color stuff. So this was the color press. So all the ads you got in your Sunday paper and stuff like that was all printed here.
I know, you'd drive by and you'd see them printing the paper. That was the idea.
The other cool thing in this building was all of these windows were covered with bomb-proof coating, right? So this building was built somewhere around 2000, and we have the federal courthouse across the street, right? So it was right after Oklahoma. So they were super concerned about the fact that we don't want anyone to blow our newspaper up. So we replaced all that glass just to open up and fishbowl it in here. And some of it was us seeing out, but more was letting people see in.
This was covered?
It was all this gray covering.
Okay.
So it was like a quarter of an inch thick.
Yeah. And you opened it up. You put windows in.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know, the Coles family gets a lot of they just get crapped on all the time, and I think they've done amazing things in this town. Personally,
in this building, they wanted someone who made something. Their family history is making things.
It is.
Right?
It's manufacturing.
I think if they thought like we can make this a retail store or a bunch of office space, and I think they chose to have someone make something, and we just happen to be there at the right time.
And you have, I mean, we're sitting in an incredible bar, which is a great like gathering place that you probably rent it out for different events, right? Downstairs, a really good restaurant and food.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't think a lot of people know that.
Well, we have good guys down there.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the other thing that's cool about, so go check it out.
We had to do that. I mean, we're on the corner of Monroe and Riverside, so like we thought, we need to keep people engaged, right?
Yeah.
They need to come spend time with us, and they need to spend an hour instead of 15 minutes and have a cocktail.
It is such a great place to hang out. I mean, I don't know, and just looking at this stuff too.
Thanks.
So we'll go take a tour of this in a bit and check it out. What's in the future for you guys?
Me retiring.
Have you figured that out yet?
Yes, I have.
The off ramp? What is the off ramp?
I can't tell you.
Okay. Someday will you tell me?
Yeah, maybe 60 days.
Soon.
Call me in 60 days.
Is this going to be soon? You're not going to retire. What are you going to do? You're going to be bored. You're just going to go fish?
Oh, my God. I have more hobbies than you can shake a stick
Do you?
at.
Like what? Give me some.
I'm an antique car guy. I love to fish. Listen, when you start a small business and you spend all this time being an entrepreneur, you neglect things in your life. So you neglect family, and I have grandkids. Yeah. Like, I'm going to quit saying no.
Cool. Congratulations.
Plain and simple. I'm just going to quit saying no.
Yeah, to the family.
That or
good
friends
for you.
that want to do things. Like, I'm just going to quit saying no. I said no for 15 or 17 years of building this, and listen, that's the job I had. And, and I'm proud of what we've done, but I'm done saying no.
Do you remember the day where you were like, I'm not scared anymore financially, or we can make this, or
I can sort of remember that day.
What was it?
Yeah, I think it's when we decided, I tell my wife, like when we decided that as you start a small business, like you focus on $100 at a time. When you can make it $1,000, that's a big move.
It is.
I'm going to start worrying about thousands now instead of hundreds.
Yeah.
And
what year?
Oh, man, we were maybe 4 or 5 years old is all.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, and then it's grown
where
exponentially beyond that.
Where is this available now? Where do you distribute
40
to?
40 states.
40 states! Out of here.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Get out of here.
Yeah, we're a nice sized, tiny little business that nobody knows about.
And it's a little custom.
We don't talk about it. Like one thing that I'm not a big fan of is being boisterous about.
I know. That's a very Spokane thing. It is.
Like, we did our job. We do our job. I don't talk about it a lot.
I agree.
Just do our thing.
That wasn't the style of our parents. They would never have done that.
Our thing.
But I had this conversation with Scott Morris, and I'm like, you should have done a little bit of that. You at least should have told us who you were, because I didn't realize you grew up in the neighborhood we grew up in. I always thought he was some dude they brought in with a big paycheck from L.A. or somewhere.
I appreciate that about him.
You know what I mean? And yes, but at the end of the day, I ended up doing a video on his life after he graduated. Or after he retired, or right before, and it's.
You do a retirement video on me too?
Yes, I'd love to. And
7 minutes.
And I'm like, you went to Shadle?
Yeah.
And you went to GU, and you like worked your way up at Washington Water Power as an intern. Like, he did all the stuff,
very
right?
Spokane.
Very Spokane. And I'm like, why didn't you tell everybody that, Scott?
You
didn't tell us, and people are pissed that you're making $5 million a year or whatever. And it's like, if we knew you were one of us and you worked your way up, we wouldn't have bitched about it. And his wife was like,
we might have still
totally
bitched about it, but
not as much.
Listen, I'm a big believer.
We'd be proud of him. We are proud of him. We should be. He's an amazing dude.
Listen, if you're getting paid that amount of money, there is a downside to that equation, right?
Oh.
The pressure he had to deal with.
Oh my God.
And the things he had to do. Like, everyone says, like, oh, I want to get paid that. No, you really don't, because you don't know what's required.
So let me ask you about the stress of this job. Do you think
it's just the stress of being an entrepreneur?
Do you think it's helped though, because it's been fun? There's fun stress.
No, you have to manage that for sure. I mean, you have to take the great days and let them be offset by the less than great days.
Yeah. There's Norman Lear is this great. He made All in the Family and all these famous movies. He lived to be 101, and he was doing 8 TV shows at once. That's stress.
Yeah.
Okay, and he said, I think that stress was so out of joy that it gave me another 10 years.
I still want to be done. I still want to go fish.
Well, let's be that. On that note, thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thanks for sponsoring the MIP podcast, and
my pleasure.
Maybe making an MIP whiskey. I mean, we do drink the whiskey every time, and now we're going local. Let's go on Walkabout. All right, thanks, man. Look, so give me the tour.
Yeah, so we do kind of this side of our world is all grain. So all of our grain comes directly from the farm. We have
All
kind of
local?
we have this mechanism to sort of bag this out. All these bags are around a ton. We sort of feed that into our process, goes through fermentation.
So it goes
kind of,
this way.
It does. Kind of behind you is packaging. So canning, bottling off to the side. Over here is mixing. So anything we prepare batch-wise is done there. And then all the distillation is done in this amazing copper. So this company's 180 years old.
That made that?
Yep, family held, still in the original family. I think they're in the 5th generation.
I mean, just a
Small
view
company,
of it,
30
just
people.
a view of it, you know, in the Spokane Club across the street that's been here forever. I mean, this
Yeah.
location is
Which was so cool.
unbelievable.
When we put this all together, we used non-OSHA compliant procedures probably. So we had a thing that you cannot be in our building and take pictures for the next 12 days because we would be hanging off of pieces of rope and
Oh, right.
you know,
when
forklifts.
you started, yeah.
When we put this all
Sure.
together. Because this came in 1,000 pieces, right?
Oh,
we had
man,
to
it's like a
figure big erector set.
How long did it take?
A week and change.
Not too bad,
That
though.
wasn't too bad. I put enough of them together, it was fine.
What's the first spirit that went through this?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I've done it again. I've stumped the band.
I really don't know the answer.
Do you know anybody that would know? If it's not
Yeah,
you, they
Pat
probably don't know.
probably knows, but
Pat probably
I'm
knows.
gonna guess it was maybe vodka.
Wow, that's just so cool. What happens over here? So this goes, the whole thing goes
Oh yeah,
through.
so grain processing in the squat tanks, the fermenter. So kind of fun thing about the fermenter is that our entire production when we were on Trent and Hamilton would fit into one of those fermenters. So when we moved here, it was 4 times our current
Oh
capacity.
my God. Because these are ginormous.
5, yeah, we had to drop them in from the ceiling.
Wait. You open the ceiling up?
Yeah, we had to
drop these
close.
in?
We had to
Look
close
at these
Monroe off.
things.
I don't even know this, but to close Monroe off costs like $5,000 an hour or some shit like that.
I did not know that. Wow.
So,
So
we
what did it do?
built this facility to do. There's 4 fermenters in here. We actually can put 10. So it was all designed to put a whole nother row kind of facing this way to go right along there.
So what did this do from your old plant? Did it triple it, quadruple
No,
it?
quadruple. So our original capacity would fit into one of these tanks.
Are you gonna add more or not?
Oh, maybe not in my lifetime, but
It has the ability.
somebody else can do that.
So
Yeah,
tell
I
me-
mean, from a capacity standpoint or fundamental, like all of our systems, we can easily handle it. It's just a function of opening up the ceiling and dropping more tanks.
yeah, well, there's that. And then this stuff. When did this kick in?
Cans we started right around COVID. It was crazy.
Because
We started doing
I
like
ran into somebody that said,
2
"Oh,
cans at a time on this tiny little line. To make a pallet this size would take us all day. Now
What
we
was
can
the
do
first
this
thing you made? First
huckleberry
one?
lemonade.
Well, I was gonna say, I have a friend of mine like,
Yeah,
hey, I'm
50%
doing
of our
this thing
capacity.
with Dry Fly, and she goes, Huckleberry Lemon, it's
It's-
great.
So I was at a singer-songwriter festival this weekend, right? So we had the Northwest singer-songwriter group in, and a guy walked up to me and he said, I don't know if you know this, but I wrote a song about your can.
What?
Yeah, so he wrote a song about Huckleberry Lemonade. So,
Can we get this song?
oh, I will send you the song.
That's our new theme
How
song
cool
for
is
the
that?
podcast.
A guy wrote a song about your can.
What are these tiny barrels?
Oh, it's probably a whiskey class we've done here.
Oh, okay, right on.
You know, take it home, do a little class.
So cool.
Yeah.
These are just, so why the copper and why not? I mean, like, what's the
Oh,
difference?
copper. So when you ferment, it doesn't matter, right? When you distill, copper is about temperature, right? So when we distill, we're managing things down to like 1/10 of a degree Celsius. So copper is the best metal to control temperature, plain and simple.
Well,
And that's why they do it. And you can sort of clean that.
it's beautiful, too.
It's
Is it a pain in the ass to take care of?
No.
Oh.
It really isn't. I mean, these guys are so good at
Because
it.
it's inside.
It's all inside.
That isn't how, that isn't,
Yeah.
I hear there's a pickleball court in this place.
There are. They just put
What
like
the hell is
sticks
that?
in.
You go play?
I am not a pickleball guy. No.
You and Mark Few don't have that in common.
Yeah, but
Maybe the
yeah.
fly fishing.
Listen,
but
I mean, I'm going to focus on fishing. He can focus on fishing and pickleball.
I hear he's
I'm a
amazing.
single.
I hear he's amazing.
Of course he is.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Really? I don't think there's a lot of things he does half-assed.
No, I think you're probably no.
You know,
he's got
Mr.
an edge.
Competition.
He's got an edge to him.
Oh.
Well, yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the tour. Anything else I meant? Well, what's going on over here?
Tasting room. We were upstairs when we did the event space,
cool.
so we have a vista in tonight. Boardroom. So our boardroom's really unique. We did that. There's a shuffleboard in there. The
I did see that.
Yeah. Then offices we have, I think there's 7 of us in there. None of these things we had before. Like to have an office is mind-blowing.
You're in your car.
To have a boardroom, I mean, all these things were things we didn't think about for sure. And like, they're just all blessings. Like, oh, wow, we can do that. That's kind of fun.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
What a gift to the freaking town. And
listen, I love Spokane.
St. Charles.
Right?
You know, all the way back.
I love the city. It's my favorite part of the story is we would not be here without Spokane. Yeah. Plain and simple.
No, I believe it.
And the way people engage in the city.
And support it.
And they love what they love. And we started out, I can remember when we started bottling, and it would be all family, and we would come bottle. And then eventually, like, because mainly I'm the Spokane guy, my family's like, I'm not going to come anymore, dude. I've been there like 9 weeks in a row.
Too much.
So we had a guy, Scott was his name, from KSPS that came in and did an interview with us.
Scott McKinnon.
Yeah.
I know Scott. I worked with Scott.
Did an interview with us,
Scott.
and he's like, at the end of the interview, he's like, what do you guys want to tell people? Like, we need a lot of help bottling. And then all of a sudden we had like this board that we set up outside the door. People go like, oh, I mean, I'll do next week. And at the height of that, we had people scheduled for over a year in advance. That would go
way. We're
going to come in that Wednesday in July and bottle.
No shit. What's that?
The
Is that
craziest.
Like, how long is that? Like an hour, 2 hours? What is it?
Like a couple hours.
Couple hours
yeah,
shit?
we do sensory evaluation. It was awesome.
It just people showed up. That's
People
just
love
town,
to help,
man.
right?
It's just town.
Adult participation. They wanted to do something.
Bloomsday, Hoop Fest, all that stuff.
That's how we
Expo.
are in our city.
Totally. Well,
We engage.
congratulations, and
Thanks, man.
I guess
I'm proud of what
I guess
we've done.
congratulations that you're gonna go spend some time with your grandkids.
Sooner or later. It's going to happen. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to tell you the story because this is as good as I can get, but I've done as good as I can get again.
Yeah.
That's how cool the story is. So
What story?
can't tell you.
MIP Podcast was filmed at the studio of Corner Booth Media. Please sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere podcasts can be found.
We'd love it if you'd rate, review, and subscribe to help our podcast grow. Be good to yourself and stay interesting.